and it's worked out. Like we're still making it work. Going back to Costa Rica is like that was a huge bonding experience for us. So like we're good.
Did you guys vomit together?
So they split up the guys and girls. They were.
Bro,
It was unsettling the first night because guys are violent.
Okay, yeah.
It's
I want to
contagious.
say for all women now,
Screaming.
once you see your nigga, your man throw up, you're like so turned off. Do I want to suck your dick anymore?
If you're vomiting and you're limp in my hands, I'm not touching you until tomorrow.
I would still touch you. I mean, I'm down.
Consensual is consent, whatever, dude.
Rinse that right
Whatever
off.
the contract
move on.
reads is y'all's business, right? Here we are. Man, good to have you all here today. Hello, world, and welcome to Atlanta. We are here for another episode of Bar Banter. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Devin. I will be your host this evening. I have, of course, with me. Thank you. It's you people that I like. Thank you. Beth, my co-host. Hello.
Just every time.
Ladies first. I got my man Luke over here. I have Noah. And then, of course, we have returning guest, Christian. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. Pleasure to have you here. Really quick. We're drinking aviations, everyone, or half of us are. And then I got a little fun mocktail for Noah and Luke later. They're going to explain that in a second, what's going on with them. Really quick, I just want to go around and let everyone kind of introduce themselves again and kind of talk about themselves. Beth, why don't you start first?
Reintroduce myself. I think we all remember who I am by now.
All right, fair enough. The queen has spoken. Luke, since you're new,
I think that we should let the guests go first.
Absolutely.
I was looking for like a standard of what I was going to go through. How am I doing this introduction?
So what I pretty much, my background in bartending is I used to be a dancer who didn't, I didn't want to strip anymore. I wanted to still work in the nightlife industry, but not really do that. So I started bartending, and that was like 8 years ago. And I've been bartending ever since. So that's kind of just like my intro to bartending and kind of the way I do things behind the bar.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 42, so I've got a little longer stint here going. So I started. I actually started when I was 19.
Nice.
Randomly, I grew up in Missouri, moved to New York. My whole family's from New York. I'm the only one born in Missouri, but moved there. Helped one of my cousins do a little rental property in Southampton, and then one of her friends owns a ton of land in East Hampton. So he came up to me and did the real. I'm Jewish and Italian. Did the real Italian thing. Your mom's Italian. Your mom's Italian. It's like, I'm going to give you the opportunity nobody gets. So he put me in a restaurant in East Hampton, and one of the most expensive restaurants in the Hamptons as a kid. And did a couple summers of that, and lived in Montauk, and I mean, it was pandemonium, I think would be the best term.
Yeah, it must have been intense, right?
Oh, dude, it was like literally.
I mean, the who's who has a house in Montauk, and if you're not familiar,
it's not even that. It's the party life, and the thing is, I think this will incorporate into talk later about how it's transitioned. But even though it's a who's who and everything, it used to be like the servers and the bartenders that came up from the city and all over the places. It's like the work ethic and hard, and it was just like it was a constant party. You slept a little bit every 3 days. Met a cage dancer from Ibiza, moved to Amsterdam for her, and lived in the red light district. And then after that didn't work out, I moved to Los Angeles and did 15 years living in West LA, but worked everywhere from Ocean Avenue Seafood to Water Grove with David Lefevre, opened the Nobu in West Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
That's nice.
But my last 4 years there, I bartended at Duke's in Malibu, ran the water, so it's kind of a little bit of everything. And then they told us we couldn't go outside anymore, so here I am in Atlanta for almost 4 years.
After COVID, right? Absolutely.
Dude, there's no reason to live in Santa Monica if you can't go outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
well, Atlanta's happy to have you, Luke, man. Pleasure to have you. Noah?
Yeah. So I've moved around a lot. I was born in Colorado. We moved around a lot growing up. I ended up in Tennessee when I was 18 and moved out on my own. And my first gig was a place. Can I say the place where?
As long as it's not bad. Go for it.
No, it's a Red Robin. It's a
Red Robin.
Yeah, burgers and fries, man. Got to earn your stripes somewhere.
Hey.
Did there for like 3 years. Then I had an opportunity to come to Atlanta, and wasn't really doing anything. And the opportunity was a wine bar, which was it was a good time, and it learned a lot about wine, and realized a passion, a heavy interest in that category. And that kind of gave me opening to where I'm at now, which is a little higher end steakhouse, and served there for a couple years. And COVID happened, everybody got furloughed for a little bit, and company took great care of us. Came back, and all the bartenders were getting ready to move on to their own prospects, and so that opened up a door for me to bartend there. I've been doing that for about 3 years now, in like near my 10-year mark on this whole service industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, good stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then, of course, Christian, just a little excerpt of your origin one time for me.
Yeah, so I'm originally from El Paso, Texas, which is a border town out far west. And first time I came to Atlanta, I think I was around 11, and it was a big culture shock for me, just because I was the majority, and then now I became more so like in my environment, the minority. And my first start in the restaurant business was Uncle Julio's, actually, which is a major chain out in Texas. That was at 18 years old. So it was very weird there because my first start was what I thought was the blueprint throughout the restaurant industry, because there's sort of a hierarchy there. Like in terms of like, if you were pretty much the head waiter, if you're pretty much the head waiter, then you got served the first 3 rounds. And then after that, that's when rotation became. And then you also didn't have to tip out also. And what else? There was like certain perks to like working there. Like you had to earn your spot to work the weekend.
Wow. Applicable seniority we're talking about here.
Yeah, so that's how I thought the structure was like throughout the restaurant industry. But then I quickly found out that it's a free for all pretty much. Sometimes.
I wish.
Yeah. Yeah, so you would get priority and yeah. And so ever since then, I just worked at various Mexican restaurants, and then my last serving job was at New Rome, out on the Beltline.
Brewery, absolutely. Well, thank you again for that information, everybody. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here at the table. Yeah. Now, let's get into a little deeper conversation. All right, Luke, I'm gonna throw this back at you because I mean your story sounds crazy, my dude. Like you see, like you've had like a Lord of the Rings type of adventure as far as your journey through this industry. I guess like kind of like beginning, middle, and end. Like how was your evolution like as far as you adapting to your style of service? As you know, you started young, right? 19. So like that must have been a crazy whirlwind of experience, like a social experience.
Oh, dude, it's like it literally went from 0 to 1,000 like instantly. I mean, working in the Hamptons is different because it's like, it's back then, this is early 2000s, this is 11.1 growth per capita during the summer.
Okay.
So you're talking about a place where everybody on the railroad's coming out, everything, and it's literally, I don't even know what it is now. I went there for my cousin's wedding this last year, but it wasn't in season. But it's literally, show up and it's pandemonium from beginning to end. It's just like constant money. And it's great. So that initial introduction going back into real life, working in the city, my first winter, I worked at a place on Park Avalon, which was an upscale restaurant, and it wasn't a party vibe. So it was very much like, nobody was drawing me lines in the back and saying, hey, let's go back here. So I literally went from like this to this normality of poise and everything, which you had where I worked. It was a place called Pacific East. It's not there anymore. It was like amazing place. Sold bottles of Screaming Eagle regularly there.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Opus One was like you sold, on average, you would usually sell at least one bottle of Opus One a night. Yeah. Somalia would come over, It's just like it was just money being thrown at you.
What year was
in
this?
every aspect.
We're talking about what time period we're talking about?
This is early 2000s.
Oh.
Because I moved
okay.
to Amsterdam in 2005.
Okay.
So this is prior to that, and
I
then
feel like it didn't fit.
so it was it was a while ago. But it was just going into that. I mean, I think I really took full swing when I moved finally to Los Angeles, because I literally went. I was living in Amsterdam, couldn't work. I was signed up under Salmon Boner trying to figure out what I was going to do, living with this girl, trying to get my working papers. So I became a mat Pilates instructor. Meanwhile, I also had a ponytail down in the middle of my lower
Get
back
out
at
of
the time.
here,
I
dude.
was like, dude, I look like an Eastern European trafficker. Literally. And
I
wore
wish you
the-
would have had this story prepared with the photo.
I have
You
one
should've
that I
had
can
photo
show you
ready.
guys later, but it's like pulled up.
We're gonna drop it when this gets edited. People, I promise you. Luke's got us.
I'll find
We
it because I
have
have
to.
some
We'll get that
pictures
one.
of me when I was young. But I wore like the Adidas tracksuit. I did the whole thing.
That's beautiful. You said a Guinness tracksuit. Did I hear that?
No, the Adidas tracksuit.
Adidas tracksuit.
The
Close
Okay.
enough.
black with the white
Subtitles
stripe
are off.
With
All
the,
right.
but no,
Badass.
going to Los Angeles was kind of like the real intro to it. So my aunt and uncle lived out there, just outside of Pasadena. So I stayed with them. And then my first place I moved to Hollywood, right behind the Gromans Theater. And there was a place called Blowfish Sushi, which was,
Blowfish sushi.
and they put,
Sounds fresh.
it was a party zone. So it was owned by a guy that's a big DJ.
Okay.
I won't drop names on this one.
Okay.
Big DJ, cool family, everybody there. They're Russians.
It was a family-owned operation.
It was Russian Jewish people that owned this.
That sounds
And
entertaining.
They were very, very cool. I will never say anything bad about them.
Absolutely.
But no, they were awesome. And it was a very cool intro. So we had literally, I'll name drop this guy. His name's Steve Pryor. You can see him. He's a friend of mine that's DJ'd with Eric Murillo, everybody.
Okay.
But he used to spend there on Friday and Saturday nights. So it was literally this dope ass sushi place right on Sunset, right next to the Beverly Hills sign. So it's right by Sunset and Larrabee where it was. The Boa Steakhouse is right across the street from where it is now, currently. But this place was just like what it was. And then you had this house music all night long and everything. That's where I kind of like honed into it
Okay.
and really like kind of got my groove to like, fast pace, getting everything together, continuity of actually like learning how to multitask and put it together, which I think is missing these days. You know,
Yes.
when
I
it's busy,
agree.
And when it's busy on 7 o'clock,
Like you have
if
to
you're
be able
eating
to
your
make more than one drink at a time, and it's not easy. And I will say that this is not something that I learned until I started working at Gypsy Kitchen, and that's where me and Devin met. This was like 5.
So we straight out of
How long
it was
ago? Like
2020. It was
yeah, like
2020. It was straight out of reopened out of COVID.
right, yeah, like
Okay.
when everything reopened.
Which we're gonna
for
get to in a
COVID.
second after this.
But when I started working there, that's where I kind of gained that. And I worked at strip clubs and high volume places, but I didn't have the need to make more than one 2 or 3 ingredient cocktail at a time. Like at the strip club, you're serving shots and
Yeah,
beers.
Yeah, not craft cocktails.
At
Right.
Gypsy, you need like 5 craft cocktails, and each cocktail takes 3 ingredients or more.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna make 5 espresso martinis, so you gotta go to the back or get someone.
But so many people
So
aren't
it's-
even looking at that.
Yeah,
anymore.
and it's like I learned so much. Like I didn't know how to hold 2 bottles in one hand until Ari. Shout out to Ari from Gypsy Kitchen. She's the best bartender.
The godmother of Buckhead.
Yes, she is amazing. She taught me everything I know. She's awesome, and she taught me how to hold more than one bottle at once so that I can pour and make drinks faster, more efficiently. Because I was slowing the team down. I was like not the best one, but I didn't have the experience that they did, and they really taught me. And they took the patience and the time to teach me how to
They
become
empowered you.
faster and more efficient. And now I can say that I am.
And that's awesome because you learn from that. And that's one of
Yeah.
the things that, jump off on a little side tangent.
No,
here.
no, this is-
that's not around anymore.
No.
Because it was all about, so when I started this, I'm going on almost 23 years in this industry now. If they didn't like you where you worked and you didn't fit in, they fired you because you weren't a part of the family making everything go, and you weren't being a part of the solution. Because that used to be you partied together, you drank together, you slept together. Yeah, you did everything. You broke up together.
Yeah.
You did everything as a family, and now you're with a bunch of people that you don't even know because you hate half of them because they show up 30 minutes late to work. They won't do their job, and it's 7 o'clock when it's busy. they're eating a salad in the back. And when you say, hey, man,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
No.
Hey, you're targeting me. And I'm not targeting
No,
I am targeting you. Get your ass
Yes.
on the floor.
Okay, can I just say, nobody wants to fucking work anymore. I'm sorry, not to quote Kim, but nobody wants to fucking work.
You got
No.
to baby
Like,
everybody.
people want to be servers and bartenders for the money. They want to walk out money every night. They don't want to put in the fucking hard work to do the job.
Well,
It's brutal.
Dude, and that's the whole thing is the prior setup and you can't make something happen unless you've previously set up for it, got yourself ready for it. I mean, even when, dude, my last 4 years at Duke's, I don't think I was ever sober when I showed up to that place, but I showed up early and I used to cool myself. Devin will know what I'm talking about here. I used to take my shirt off and go in the beer cooler and hug the kegs because I hadn't slept for 2 days to cool my body down.
That's a therapeutic method. People, don't judge him for that.
And then go back and I would bartend in the Barefoot Bar with the sun coming down and the waves splashing in the window, which when you haven't slept in 2 days is a nightmare to have that amount of sunlight on you. And I did it, and you could go back there and ask anyone now. I could make a drink, listen to an order, put an order in, entertain everybody, clean my glassware, reset the bar, make sure I had what I needed, and execute. I mean, this is really just
we're actors.
working job.
We're actors.
Some of
And performers, though, we had to execute, like, there's P's and Q's. And Noah, please go ahead and take it away.
No, I was gonna say
yeah.
some of my best performances at work were when I've been hungover.
Hungover, dying.
Because you have to.
Hating
It's
your
a point.
life.
It's a point of like you either
You should have to.
you should no. Well, you gotta
because
like
if you're yeah.
either
go ahead, sorry.
you gotta perform or go home. It's like
Yeah, but now in this industry though,
Now
it's not go home. It's everybody else will pick the slack up for
Yeah.
your ass, and then when you talk to them, the managers will be like, "Don't be so mean."
I mean, that's
Which
because
will be
people have been getting
mean,
sensitive,
that's-
but
yeah, there's no sensitivity in the industry. I'm sorry. Like, tensions are heavy. Everyone's hot. They're agitated. They're hungover. You're gonna get cursed out, but at the end of the day, we're gonna apologize and buy you a beer.
You'd
and say
think.
we're sorry.
you'd think.
At least the
You
decent
would
people
think
do.
it used to be
least the
anymore.
decent
Everybody
people do.
does this thing. I mean, we talk about it in the last several years. I've heard it so much, and it's weird. It's these people are your coworkers might be going through something at home. You know what? If they are, the person that's sitting in that chair that's paying $100, $200, $300 or more for their food, honestly, they don't care about it.
No.
So when they're doing that and they're giving the review, and the rest of us have to get a bad review and have 40-minute pre-shifts on how we're doing terrible because this one person is a weak link, I don't think it's fair. And you're targeting them. You're not targeting them. You're trying to tell them, hey, you need to do better. I think you put the target on yourself once you decide you're not going to do better.
and there is a way to engage an individual in that, but you're right. Like there's I don't know if y'all seen Drumline or not, but like one band, one sound. It's the same concept of the restaurant. Everybody whose face is involved in that operation is representing one team, one experience. Whether it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday.
We all look good together. We all look bad together.
Exactly. That's just the
what
way it is. It's a unified family.
And I'll say, like, I've been working on my tone and how I talk to people. It's a learning curve.
It's an art.
It's an art, man. It's especially my coworkers. But it's for a long time. I'm very deadpan and I'm to the point. So if I see you doing something wrong, I'm calling you out. I'm saying it's not, especially when we're holding the standard here. I'm going to tell you, hey, there's a reason we do it like this. Listen to me, you make some money, kind of thing. And feelings are easily hurt these days. And it's like, I've had multiple talks with management, and like people go straight to the office nowadays. Like when you're just telling them that they're doing something wrong, it's like, I'm not picking on you. You're just doing something wrong.
Hostile work environment.
Yeah, no, it's like you're just doing it wrong. And people have said, it's your tone, whatever. But I've worked on my tone, and I've like very soft when I talk to people now. I feel. And it's still like I just like right, yeah. But it's like I shouldn't have to like. If I'm just gonna talk to you. I'm not picking on you. I'm not being mean. I'm just talking to you. But I shouldn't have to like baby.
Because here's the thing: is by the time you've probably said that, and they go to the office or something else, it's probably not the first time it's been said to them. So instead of everybody finding an excuse as to why everybody's mean to them, why don't they just fix that one problem, and they can go through the rest of their serving career or life without having anybody talk to them about that? Like, I'm not going to say anything right now, but like I posted a picture the other day about spoons. We have demi-tasse spoons. We have dessert spoons. they don't all go in the same thing. So,
People who don't know, Demi-tasse spoons are the little small ones that you serve with your espresso. You might eat bone marrow with them, all right? And then you have like a soup spoon, for instance, or also used as a dessert spoon, which is a lot larger, okay? Go ahead, Lee.
correct. So I put a picture on our little thing, and I put, hey, you should do that. You need to stack the glasses like this. If anybody needs me to show them, let me know. I'd be more than happy to show you. And then I put a little comment. I said, and we could also get some coloring books and crayons. I'll show you to draw inside the line.
So that was in the group chat, I'm assuming.
Yeah, hilarious. I thought it was funny. A couple people said that may be condescending. But it's my nice way of me just not coming up and like throwing the spoon at you.
No, but you're definitely saying, hey, there was a huge, obvious, like level, like 101 rookie ass mistake being made here at a high caliber environment.
Yes.
And that's where you're being insulted because you've taken the time to get to this caliber. This shouldn't even be a problem.
And that's the thing.
And I think I'm more insulted because I'm the one that actually had to resort them. I think that's
Okay, well, there's
big
extra
difference.
salt in that one for sure. Yeah.
No, but you said it like when you're at that higher caliber, it shouldn't be your first day. Like we shouldn't teach you how to serve. This
No,
is like
you're right.
you should be learning that restaurant. And if you can't get a hold of like where silverware goes, what silverware to put out, drinks, placement, all sorts of stuff, how to take an order, like what are you doing here?
Exactly.
Can
What are you doing
can
at
I
home?
just
If you don't know
say-
where to put your forks and knives, what are you doing at home?
Right.
Can I
What's
just say, gentlemen, that this is why I like working at strip clubs and sports bars because I don't gotta worry about shit like that. Oyster forks and dessert spoons and all that bullshit.
I mean,
It
if
is
I was
exhausting.
If I
It
was
is
bigger,
exhausting.
I would work the door to strip club in a
Oh my
moment.
God,
I would
like-
love to be that guy.
But I bartend now. We serve oysters, and we have all that extra stuff. And sometimes I'm like, oh my god, just like order fucking wings. Like throw some like wet naps out. You can call it a day. Like I don't know.
Simple.
I miss working at a strip club where it was simple, and I gave out Miller Lights and vodka shots all night.
So in the biz, ladies and gentlemen, that's just called turn and burn. Is what Beth is referring to.
Yes.
What I was gonna say about
Ashes in, ashes out.
what I was gonna say with Noah about like working on tone is that the one thing that I do like about the industry is that since you're around people so many like throughout your entire day, you do learn how to pick up right away like someone's like vibe, so to speak.
You're referring to the variety of guests that you encounter, right?
Yeah, so like even with the guest, it's like I know when it's kind of like the Uber. Like sometimes you don't want to talk, so sometimes the guests don't want to have a conversation. They just want their food. They just want the job done. And then other times they come there for therapy or they'll express their
Yeah.
their at home problems.
For sure.
We love those people because they come back.
Have you had a
Yeah.
guest like
We're unlicensed therapists. That's what.
have you had a guest
Right?
like cry like that? It makes me feel so uncomfortable when they're
Dude.
crying. Like
It's gonna
Yeah.
happen at
this
some
lady
point,
was
but-
crying and I didn't know what to do. I just kept putting
at
napkins
the bar
on
or a table.
at my table, and I just kept putting napkins on the table, and she just kept taking up and
Whoa.
and I'm just like silently passing. I'm like, I felt so awkward but sorry for. She was with a guy, and I'm like, I really hope he's not dumping her.
Right.
That's
Hey
the
Beth,
story-
what happened to the pile?
The pile. I mean, by the time that I cleaned up the table and they paid the check, it was all like crumbled up, and she took her salad to go.
well.
Did she,
But
did she tip you?
she left
appropriately?
when he paid the bill. Just-
Okay. Well, I was gonna say at least that's better because I had a guest where he decided to come out to his mom
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's tough.
and it didn't go as planned.
Ooh,
that's unfortunate.
So
that really sucks.
yeah, so I'm in
Well,
the middle of like
Didn't go planned in a bad way.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I guess
Reacted-
they were from a wealthy family because the only thing I overheard was that he was cut off from I guess
Dude.
the funds.
That's not cool, man.
Yeah, so it does like
It
those
gets
awkward
sticky.
situations
Yeah,
because
and then you don't know what to do.
you're still trying to do your job, but you're
Yeah.
like, this is
Christian, do you remember what part of the meal they were on, like as far as coursing is concerned? This is important. This is important.
yeah, they were ordering drinks, so
Oh.
it was at the start.
That?
He didn't
Yeah.
hesitate.
They
He
didn't
didn't.
even get to ask.
Oh man.
So imagine me like,
would have had
are
a
you
couple
guys ready
drinks
to order
at least.
or
No,
like
see,
you
so
know?
my guest
That's
got like
savage as fuck.
salads,
Yeah.
and the salads just sat and wilted and died.
I had a guest going through a divorce one time. I assume. I don't-
Going through it, okay.
Yeah, they were like they showed up at separate times. Very much knew each other. They were talking, and I was about to go over. They got like soups and salads, set them on the table. They weren't touching them. I kept kind of like swinging by, like, you guys ready for our next course?
Did you
Should
feel
we
like
get
a
started?
stalker just
And
walking by?
Just like, I mean,
Like a
it's
creep.
like
I feel like a total creep.
keeping an eye on them, and they're like, we're not ready, and eventually, lady throws her drink on the dude.
Whoa,
Yeah, I left.
man.
I left.
Oh.
And
So jealous.
So
I
got
felt
paid
bad
for
for
that,
him. I felt, yeah. I was
Now
like,
I'm jealous. I've never had a.
Yeah,
That's
check's
like a
still coming.
telenovela moment. I'm
He was a
jealous
nice
that
guy.
you got to experience.
Well,
You said he was a nice guy.
he was a nice guy. So, well, to me,
Dude,
I don't know.
Okay,
He was buzzing. He tipped all right.
How
you
many
know?
nice guys get drinks thrown on them?
So,
I mean, yeah, you gotta do it in public.
Well,
Third
it's
party
like-
perspective, he's a good guy.
you know, like if
20%.
you go through divorces get messy. I see.
Oh, yeah.
plenty
Yeah.
of them. I get lawyers come through my bar. Like I hear all about that
All
stuff.
the team.
So
Yeah.
Don't you love that? Like you get to eavesdrop on everyone.
You're not eavesdropping.
drama.
You're being attentive, and they drop
It's
that
part of
shit
the
when
gig.
you're around.
Yeah.
It's part of the gig.
So
yeah.
while
It's
we're
like-
talking about, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Beth.
go ahead.
So while we're talking about serving guests, which, hey, by the way, I obviously have been doing this for over 20 years.
We all love
I
this.
obviously love this.
Right.
This is just kind of the you know what's going on thing. What is going on with the tipping situation
Dude, let's
in
get
Atlanta,
into that.
Georgia? We need to get into that because here's the thing: is you've got people coming from all over Asian countries, African countries, European countries. and
World
somehow-
class citizens.
Somehow they're tipping 20%, but people that are American born with American accents
Tip
are
like
tipping
shit?
5 and 10%.
Yeah.
Damn
In
right.
Atlanta, I've never
Yeah.
experienced this.
Criminal.
In New York,
It's like
or
the
Los
it's like
Angeles.
the
Why?
international people have more sympathy for us than our own local people.
I feel like Atlanta, as far as I'm aware from what I hear, is like the restaurant scene is relatively young compared to like New York, like Los Angeles or something. But like it's nice restaurants are like we just got Michelin. We just got Michelin star in Atlanta. So it's like
Michelin
still
shat on that person. Like, oof, they went harsh.
yeah.
Go ahead. that's
Yeah,
all right.
but like, you know, like people are talking you know not used to those nicer places, these nicer restaurants.
Right.
And so like the culture is
But-
still growing, you know, I feel.
But let me just say, while you're growing as a culture, everybody that's listening to this out there, I mean, right now, it's never been a question. It is 20% or more.
Thank you.
It,
Explain
like,
proper
it's been
tipping
that
culture
for
just one time.
years.
Explain it for us one time.
5
please.
and 10%, or just giving a nice crisp $20 bill does not cut it. When it's $500,
yeah.
that should be a let's do the
20%.
math here
Triple
for everybody.
digits you should be doing, which is the right
Move
thing.
the decimal over and then times 2. So
Say that again,
500.
Luke. Say that again.
So whatever it is on the total, you move that decimal point over and then you multiply times 2. So if you've got let's start with 100. You got a $100 bill. Slide that over. There's $10. You do that times 2. There's $20.
Slide it over which way, bro?
Left.
You're gonna slide to the left.
Okay.
So anything, $100 becomes $10 times 2, 20%. If you can't do that by yourself, your
Calculator
phone can
works.
do that. Oh my
Mhm.
God! Or you can just ask the waiter, "Hey, what would 20%?"
A lot of restaurants have it on the bottom, guys.
Yeah.
Just look.
And thank you guys. So
Just scale down.
exactly, and thank you everyone. We're gonna get back to that and talk a little bit more about the transition of the service industry, guys. Thank you so much for your input. We're gonna take a break real quick, folks. We'll get right back to bar banter shortly. Thank you very much. All right. And I exit in 3, 2. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Bar Banter. We took a little break there, talked about some beautiful topics beforehand. Really quick, once again, I'm here, of course, with my co-host Beth. I have Luke, Noah, and Christian with us. Thank you very much again for being here, folks. We were just touching about the topic of dealing with guests and service and all that. Before we get into that, quick snippet about some. I just want to talk about little healthy topics from my guys here, Luke and Noah. They both are kind of on a little dry journey, and for those of you who aren't in the biz, that's just they're staying away from alcohol for a little bit due to their own personal benefits, and they're going to kind of share that life with you guys for a little bit. Noah, you want to take us away real quick?
Yeah, so I originally didn't realize I was going to be doing it this long. I recently went to Costa Rica for a wellness life advancement center.
Wow.
And it was a ayahuasca retreat, which for those people that don't know is a
Nice.
a medicinal plant used in a lot of spiritual ceremonies in South America and stuff. I won't go all the way into it because there's so much, but basically it was a week long, and we did it for 4 days, just all day, just packed full of doing yoga classes,
Very
a
cool.
lot of stuff to integrate this kind of healthy living our new life, and like people go there to get rid of addictions and deal with traumas and all sorts of stuff. I didn't really know what I was doing there. My buddy went a couple years ago. It was a real dark place. He was like, and just kind of went out of spontaneity.
You or your friend?
My friend did.
Okay.
Yeah, he went a couple years ago, and he changed his life, and he wanted to bless me and a few other people to go on this trip, and I was like, why the hell not? And so I did it. And after the 7 days was over, the like instructors and everything were like, we recommend, because of what the plant has done to your kind of mindset, resets you and everything, we recommend focusing on building like healthy habits, because it's a really good time for you right now to do that. And we also recommend just staying sober.
How was the dosing process, my man, if you don't mind talking about that?
So it was every night. It was like, or the first 4 nights, it was the, what they do is it's like a drink. They make a drink out of it. So it's DMT is the molecule that's inside ayahuasca. So they blend it with like different plants, bark, roots, and make a drink out of it so your body can digest and process it. And so the first night was a little lighter dosage just to get you like introduced to the plant, is what they say. The second night was full force. So what they tell you to do, yeah, man, it was crazy. It was wild. It was full force. So what they tell you to do is don't think, drink. So they encourage you to drink as much ayahuasca as you can. They give you little shot glasses. It's dope. I still have one. And they'll like start the ceremony. You go up, you take a shot. They like bless it. They do this oof, oof, like give it to you. It's cool. Then you sit just quiet for like an hour and a half. You just sit in silence.
Are you outside, bro?
No, you're in what they call the maloka.
The maloka.
Maloka. So it's like a building that probably fit like 60 people in there. There's probably like 45 people. Yeah, so everybody's got their own mattress.
Oh my God.
Got a mattress, a pillow, a blanket. You got a bucket on the end of the bed and some toilet paper.
A bucket?
Yeah, because you're throwing up. You're shitting or you're throwing up. Sometimes both.
Around other people?
You shit in private. You go to the bathroom, but you're throwing up at the end of the bed.
Okay.
They teach you how to do it. It's purging. It's cleaning your toxins.
Gotcha.
Tell you about. I fit like it. Yeah, it was crazy. But then after that hour and a half of silence, you go. They're like, come up and get your next shot. And at that point, it's every 20, 30 minutes. You can go and keep it going until they say last call. And like I said, they encourage you to drink as much as you can. You can't overdose on this stuff. And what I like make a point about is like they were like, it's not a drug. It's got a different molecular build than like a drug does. You don't form habits. You don't build a tolerance to it. You actually, the more you do, the less you need. It's always kind of in your system. And
wow,
yeah, man, it was life changing. It was
that's deep,
incredible. Yeah, it was.
It sounds like peace.
Yeah, man. I whole new appreciation for life.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize how kind of sad I was before, and it helped me like identify that and why, and I enjoy like every day now. I mean, that to a point. Yeah, my emotions are more balanced.
Yeah.
To where I used to be like living from event to event. Now it's like living day to day.
Okay.
Which is a lot better.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. I recommend it to anybody. The place we went to was like a licensed medical center too. I want to shout it out there, Rhythmia. If anybody gets an opportunity to go, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, might need to send me a link, bro. That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
Yeah.
Luke, let's talk about you, man.
Wow, no, that's quite the journey. Mine was the exact opposite. Mine came off of I've been a party boy for like 25 years. I mean, it kind of slowed down because I moved from Santa Monica to the outskirts of Atlanta. And mine started though with a girl I met on Tinder and literally had a night of like complete debauchery.
Oh man! All right, dude. Let's get into this one.
I want to hear this.
So I meet this girl. Took some mind expanding things, took some other expanding things, but wound up with this girl and just partied all night.
Long term, short term, bro. It's just the night, but itself. What are we talking about here?
It just wound up. So it was one of those things. It was almost like a realization like yours, but in a different way. So mine was more. I think we already got that. It went from debauchery to like that next morning, laying there, and of course, you got to go one more time.
So this is after one night.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went over her place.
Okay.
We hung out. We
Okay.
partied for like 6-7 hours, and we fucking went at it.
Of course.
Whole bottle of gin, the whole thing. Had a good time, and then laying there in the morning,
You
and
little rascal.
I did, and literally another circumstance. Literally, I was just laying there going, "What the fuck, man!" All of a sudden, like everything, like it went from this awesome fun night to like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
All
bro?
the gray came back in the world.
Oh, bro, dude! Like all of a
Dang.
sudden, like hardcore, and at the time I was 41, and I'm like, "Bro, I'm 41. What the fuck am I still doing here?" And that's the thing. It's like what you're saying about health. Like, not everybody in the industry is like a drug addict or an alcoholic or anything. Amen and hallelujah to that. But I mean, there's this whole stigmatism of this isn't a job and this is that. Like, you could still be a party boy in any job. But the thing is, you go to your work. Like, I'm never late to work. For a while.
120% testify to that. This man's on point.
Early, do my job, do everything. Obviously now I haven't drank anything since December 17th. But
2023.
yeah.
Heard.
So it's been a minute now.
Good for
Done
you,
some
dude.
mushrooms, but
That's
I
totally different
still like
conversation.
it. I still like
it. I
totally
think-
different conversation.
At the place, sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
the place we were at, I think that was for the most part, because everybody there for the most part knew what we were doing and
Yeah.
likes tripping, and so that was the most disappointing part when she was like, and we recommend staying sober from everything for the next 9 weeks. Someone in the crowd was like, even shrooms. She was like, even shrooms, and I was like, oh man.
But that's the thing is you can go back to it. I'm doing 1
Yeah.
year, so it's not like I'm not one of those people that's like, oh my god, I'm an alcoholic or a drug addict or I've got to do. It's just like, you know what? I've gone pretty hardcore for 25 years, and then this is a different like little journey here. So it's kind of like immediately when I first did it, I lost some weight. I went down like 20 pounds. I get up. I'm eating healthier now. I exercise more. Like, I feel good. Unfortunately, without all the partying and stuff, the debauchery nights are gone. So it's we'll see.
Hey,
We'll
fuckery
see.
is a human condition. It ain't going away.
I'm really
as
trying to
long
hold
as you're
back.
alive.
I know. We'll see if
Whatever
we
you
can
wanna
figure
say.
that out. But yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful, Luke. Now we appreciate that, gentlemen. I mean, that's just great. Like, this is to recognize that is one thing. To really, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I didn't say this analogy, but I'm saying it now, and this goes back to clarity with guests and all that. People don't want to put a mirror up to themselves nowadays. They don't have the courage, and they don't have, I don't know, the determination and just self-worth to really just be like, I'm fucking up. How do I change this? And it's usually it takes 2 or 3 pivots before you're back on track or even further than you think you need to be. So, no, that's great, guys, and I love to hear that because you're right. Now, don't get it twisted, people. Front house to back house, it gets more potent. People aren't just there at a restaurant to just mess around, right? They're talking about single parents, like, or even providers of all sorts, or just walks of life are engaged in this industry, and mental health is important just across the board, not just in the service industry. But I will say, it's constant with us. We're dealing with every caliber of guests, all right? Especially if you're working in a high caliber industry or whatever you're working at, it doesn't even matter. Chili's, what have you, okay? Freaking Applebee's, O'Charlie's, I don't know, freaking Capitol Grill, it doesn't matter. Keep naming them down the line. The point is, all these people absorb thousands of different personalities and energies on a weekly basis, okay? So with that being said, you have to be mindful of these kind of things when they're cultivating your experience, all right? If you're going through a tough time in your life, if you need to relay that, they're always going to be there for you. They're very, very keen on, that's what the best, I think, superpower about all people in the service industry have, like good ones. Our social awareness is absolutely off the damn charts if there was one,
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Like the way that Christian will say, he says it a different way, but I like to say we sort people out and we categorize people in our brackets and our webs of, due to behavioral and, visual cues. And typically most of us are at least 85% right. We'll shoot that crapshoot like 8 times out of 10 and be right, Now let's talk about the shift, right? And what I mean by that is we're talking about freaking COVID before and after.
Oh god, yeah.
What was that like for you guys? All right. I mean, Christian, how about, no, actually, you know what, Beth, look, you've been quiet and you've been freaking, you haven't torn my head off or anything. I mean, please, like, Queen, talk to me. What you got?
Oh my God. So right when COVID happened, I had just turned 26. So I went to Cabo for my 26th birthday. I got back early March. And a week later, the borders were shut down. And I'm like, thank God I left Cabo when I did. Because, I mean, it's the Waldorf, but do I really want to be stuck at the Waldorf for months at a time? So I got back home and, you know, everyone was laid off and I had no idea what to do. Like, this is all I've really ever done. So I started going back to school. Excuse me. And I went back to get, like, my degree in psychology because I was like,
Oh, no.
what can I do that kind of applies to my job now? And would, you know, something like, and I figured, like, with a degree in psychology, you can do relatively whatever the fuck you want. But after, you know, Atlanta, I guess was like one of the first places that like opened back up for bartenders. Because he got rehired because you were already there, I think.
No, I was actually going from a steakhouse in Dunwoody to.
So you weren't at Little Alley.
Huh? No.
I mean, I'm sorry, not Little Alley. You weren't at Gypsy. Like, you hadn't already prior.
No,
okay.
I had no experience there at all.
Yeah, so, like, I just, like, filled out an application on Indeed, and they came in, and they were like, we're firing everyone that we had before.
Yeah, actually,
and we're hiring a new staff.
Jeez.
They're like, we're getting rid of everyone, and we want all new staff behind the bar. And they hired me, and, I mean, it was
crazy.
Amazing. I mean, I don't know about Devin, but I was making, like, $900 a night, $800 a night, like
we did good,
and that's me
good.
Working with at most. Okay, it's me, Ari, Diamond, here. That's me working with at least 4 other women behind the bar. So that's 5 bartenders in total, splitting the pot, and I'm still making $900 a night. Like, we were making fucking bread. Like, that summer we were just.
But the training protocol was crazy.
Oh yeah,
that was completely.
hard
it was insane. Like, we're talking about.
But was it? Like, okay, but was it like?
What was that? I gotta hear.
Okay. We're talking about.
But was it okay? So they made us all come in on our. We weren't open yet. They made us all come in, and they didn't like fucking ass backwards because what they did was, we had to drink every wine, bubbly, every cocktail on the menu and eat everything. So they started with the drinks first.
Okay, but my perspective is
so
that they let us get drunk early.
Yeah, but that was dumb. They said they let us eat first and then, because we ate later on, but we were wasted. Like, we didn't try every wine, prosecco, champagne,
on day
beer.
1.
Everything, and then they're like, okay, because the tapas restaurant, mind you, is tapas. Then they're like, we made all the tapas for you. Now that you're a shitty drunk, I'm like, come on.
So, in my opinion,
I'm not gonna name who, but remember our friend got super shitty that day.
Okay, that's fair. So
I'm not gonna name who she is.
You don't need to name that. That's fine. I appreciate that respect.
But it was. I mean, it was
for
great.
one thing, I will say there was I didn't find it unorthodox at all. So. I had a good time and I enjoyed myself, and it made everybody very friendly with each other very quickly, almost like the morale was instant.
Yeah,
and then it was.
We had a very nice friend group after that.
What I was trying to say was more on the lines of they had us training with fucking gloves and masks, and you're. I was talking about that shit. I'm talking about like you're working on like a rooftop bar in the middle of a freaking city surrounded by concrete and windows that has like probably it's definitely exposed to the sun like 80% of the day.
Like not really garage doors, or I don't know how you would consider it.
Sliding
sliding doors,
like,
so they would open up. So there's no AC ventilation. It's just all hot air. And then, I mean, Devin, we worked 12, 13, 14-hour shifts. We worked all fucking day and night. Right. You get there at 10 a.m., you're leaving at 3, 4 in the morning.
Making bread because you're raking it in.
Yes, you're making $900 for that whole time, which is
imagine
amazing,
carrying wet. You know, like you're trying to polish like plates and carry things with gloves on, like with latex gloves, or like non-latex because motherfucking allergies and shit, right? Because what the fuck?
Food grade.
All that. So it just added more health code situations to everything. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but honestly, that only lasted.
Not saying it's not a bad.
That only lasted like the first month. Like for real, let's be honest, it lasted.
Well, after the riots, they kind of threw out the fucking window. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Their attention shifted.
But I feel like the main focus was the amount of money to be made after COVID, because we were at a rooftop bar. People wanted to fucking be outside, but they were still afraid of being closed inside.
You're right.
So they wanted to be at a rooftop bar because they're like, oh, it's healthier, right? We're breathing fresh air. we're in an outdoor environment, and I think that's why we made so much fucking money.
If you
that
were a
summer.
considerate individual and you knew how
Like,
to bring
we
us
made-
experience, you made money.
Yes.
Yes.
No. I mean,
That-
Because we're gonna get to the
that was a
nitty gritty with
good
that.
summer for bartending.
So that is true, but off on kind of a little side note, that money is still out there being spent. And the problem that's happening right now is people are focusing on reviews, this, that. They're focusing on, a lot of things they shouldn't be. And I'm talking about here, owners and managers. What they should be focusing on is the
You're talking about the
service.
perspective of the high.
If you
of
have
owner.
servers and bartenders that are on point, doing a great job behind the bar, at the table, in their section, doing the proper thing, you can run with less servers, less bartenders that are doing a better job than what we're doing now. Because right now, what we're doing is flooding the floor with good people, with some shitty people mixed in there that's bringing down the service level and also bringing down the money in all of our pockets, because the money should be there and we shouldn't be having less for those of us that are working harder so we can compromise for the other person so they can have a couple tables.
Counter question for that. That's kind of like the place that I work at now. We literally have 3 bartenders. That's it. And we're very strong, so we don't need more people, but we're exhausted. We can never go on vacation because it's only 3 bartenders because they're like...
He's talking about
we
he
don't-
had 8 bartenders versus
Work-life
5.
balance is huge.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we want to keep a strong, tight-knit staff so we don't have to like overstaff, but then like those core people, we're exhausted. Like
That's
me
a
and
good point.
me and my coworkers, so where I work at now, there's 3 bartenders. One girl just put her 2 weeks in, so it's just me and my other coworker. We're going away next month. We're scrambling. I mean, we asked Devin, "Can you come work?" Because we're scrambling to go on vacation together because we're best friends that just happen to work together. So like, there's a downfall about having that core. Like, we have 6 people that are really strong on my job: 3 bartenders and 3 servers. And
For the whole restaurant, people.
For the whole restaurant, we
Kudos.
have 6 people.
To South Main
and
Street.
we work well, and we make a lot of money because
huge.
it's so tiny. But God forbid you want to have fun,
Right.
because who are you gonna call?
Time off.
We're
is-
already stretched so thin.
Exactly.
But I'm going to Puerto Rico next month, so you better be working.
I got you.
I work with my SO behind the bar, and we're both
Your SO.
my significant other.
Oh.
My lady.
That's beautiful.
I know. I was going through my mind. I was like,
I know. I'm not serving.
Using those abbreviations. Sorry, Gen Z here. No.
No, shout out. Shout out.
Yeah. But yeah, like we're two of the mains, and they've realized that they need more staffing back there because when we take time off, we take time
Right.
off together.
And they're kind of fucked.
Yeah. Oh God, when we went to Costa Rica, we had some
how
newer
do
people back
y'all
there.
handle it? Because like my coworker, her name is Liz. Liz is like texting people like, "Oh my God, can you work?" And I'm like, "Girl, it's a month. Like, we're in May. That's in June. They can figure it the fuck out." She's like racking her brain, texting Devin, texting everyone. Are you that like coworker that you're trying to figure it out first?
No, I mean
Because I'm gonna say fuck it and leave it to management.
yeah, man, we they've been pretty good about like saying yes to our requests off. Time
Of
off.
course.
Yeah, because we put it way ahead of time. We'll let them know ahead of time. Now this last time, and it's like I've seen bartenders come and go here on that bar, whether it's going to management, not loving it, going back to serving, this, that, and the other. But it was a rough time for us because we were picking up slack. Just like kind of being one of the things too I'll touch on is like a big thing for bartenders I've realized is consistency in their schedule. Because building regular regular clientele is
Very
huge.
valuable. Very valuable.
You know how often it's a Thursday and I call off and they're like, "Where the fuck are you?" And I'm like, "Bro,
Yeah, they'll turn around.
I had a hair appointment or something.
Yeah.
Like, I need it off."
So,
$200 check gone.
right.
Yeah.
So, like for a long time, it was just like we're scheduled however they need us.
You would work around your days.
Yeah, it just like.
That was your integrity talking, though.
Yes, and then finally it was like, "Hey, throw me a bone here." I was like, I need some. One, for our relationship, we needed like a day off together. 2, it was like, give us some consistency so because people keep asking, "When can I come see you? When can I?" And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Right.
And then when we got that, our mental health started changing. Our relationship was better.
So y'all both went down there?
I'm sorry. So you're both.
We both went to Costa Rica. Yeah,
But isn't that hard? Like, I dated someone who was a bartender, and I was a bartender.
we started before we were working together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was
Okay.
that was a big thing, and we were
I
friends.
dated
for
a
long time.
bartender, and we lived together, never saw each other.
Yeah, and that's like why we were like, we need a day off together. I've been back behind that bar the longest. I was like, throw me a bone here. Like, you give me a little something on my schedule, but
Back to the seniority benefits he was talking
yeah,
about, right?
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, I try to be like humble about it, like, seniority shouldn't just be the thing, but I'm also very consistent back here, and I'm a strong bartender.
Favor for a favor.
Like,
Right.
and it finally like clicked in that they started, okay, they're unhappy. Let's see how we do. Now it's gotten to the point where they kind of like sat us down. They're like, hey, we don't think you should both be back there. So if one of you want to do like one bartending shift a week and then go on the floor for the rest of the week, that way we can get some more people back behind the bar and it'd be easier for your time off and everything. So that's kind of where it's ended up. And it's worked out. Like, we're still making it work. Going back to Costa Rica is like, that was a huge bonding experience for us. So like, we're good,
Do you guys vomit together?
So they split up the guys. They were bro. It was unsettling the first night because guys are violent when they vomit.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's
I want to
contagious.
say for all women now,
Screaming.
once you see your nigga, your man throw up, you're like so turned off. You're like, do I want to suck your dick anymore?
What the hell is that? What the
Can I
hell
say
is
that?
that?
But you're vomiting along with us.
Yeah, what happens when y'all vomit on our chest and we got y'all's ass
by the
carrying
last-
off a goddamn curb?
by
What
the
is
last-
that?
by the last
to deal
night-
with it because you're gonna wash yourself and get some pussy. So
That
tough
sounds
titties.
predatory. If you're vomiting and you're limp in my hands, I'm not touching you until tomorrow.
I would still touch you. I mean, I'm down.
Consensual, this is consent, whatever, dude.
Rinse that right
Whatever
off.
the contract
move on.
reads is y'all's business, right? That's epic, Noah.
But by the last night, it was so kosher.
Jesus.
It was so kosher, and like, not to spill too much of her tea, but she had a metaphobia, which is like the fear of vomit, like not just gross.
The
vomit.
fuck?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this was a big deal for her to go, and like exposure therapy,
Oh.
huge, man. Like, it was like forced to face her trauma, and she the last night, everybody was just like cool with it. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like, it is what it is.
Right, we're
Yeah.
already comfortable with
Right,
each
yeah,
other
yeah.
and stuff.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Back to bartending. Yeah.
My girlfriend, she actually did one of these in Mexico like last week, and she just came back and
Mhm.
she was telling about it. And I mean, like, I'm Dominican. I grew up Catholic. Most Dominicans are Catholic. I mean, a lot of Latinos are
Yeah.
Catholic. And I went to Catholic high school.
Intense.
Yeah, so yeah. Well, I say this to say that sometimes it's hard for me to believe in like other things because that's how I grew up. Like, I grew up going to church and school. So
What are you referring to?
Have you ever
Like
taken a
a-
hallucinogenic? Because you don't have to believe in it.
What the hell did
well,
you
I
just
mean,
say?
okay, so when I say believe in, like, I don't believe in astrology. I don't believe in like
Yeah.
chakras and stuff like that. It's hard for me to believe in that because, like, for me, I'm the kind of person that needs like scientific, fucking
So,
irrefutable evidence.
They
you
were
know?
very
And-
educational about
and-
the whole experience.
And I would love
Yeah.
that because what they teach you in Catholic school is that they teach you that astrology is one size fits all.
Mm.
They teach you that they make these generalized statements, messages, so that you feel like it applies to you. They teach you that's like as a psychology
Mhm.
lesson essentially in Catholic school. So they teach you that this is all just like your force. They trick you to believe that this is true. So I'm always that skeptic because I grew up going to a religious school
Mhm.
that I don't.
They incorporate, because so I grew up, I'm not really religious anymore, but I grew up 20 years of my life going to church. And this made me feel closer spiritually to anything that I've ever felt.
Okay.
And they're very open about, like, they're it's not just one person you follow.
Yeah.
They're like, whoever you are, feeds you,
Whoever yeah.
feeds you spiritually,
Yeah, because
pray
I
to
feel
them.
like
you know?
I feel like at the place that I am in my life, like, I don't believe in one. I do believe that the world that we live in is gorgeous, and I don't believe that it was just some atoms,
You know,
like,
guys,
fucking, whatever.
You know, on that note, I get a lot of what you guys are saying. I'm gonna close out with y'all in a second here, but to conclude with that topic, I do have something to say about that because I was raised Catholic as well, but I went to a public school. Little different experience, but I definitely will always have the crest of Christ with me at all times. I do walk in that Christian light. I try to, at least, but I will say that I prefer to look at the Bible as more of a guideline, almost like the Odyssey, than a freaking rule book. And I do believe in the teachings of other spiritual beings. Honestly, I think we're too primal of a society, and as a species, for that matter, to really know what that higher power is, even if it is through whatever lens. I think religion is more of a lens to me than it is like a strict, like you can't just expand with the universe, right? Like I do believe in astrology because it's a science, and I think that science is a way of us of looking at the art of God, right? That's how we interpret that. That's how I see science. So I agree with you, and I know that they push that shit on you, but I am saying that you can have Christianity and science coexist together, and then not, cancel each other out, because like I said, that's just the way I view it. So with that being said, we're going to close out for a second and get into some more juice later.
Yeah, we need a new round of cocktails.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing. I got you.
Sorry, didn't mean to derail the...
You didn't derail shit. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta keep it PC.
That was good.
We gotta keep it PC.
No, we're doing beautiful, everybody. We're going to have some... All right, welcome back again, folks. Man, we have been having some insightful conversations on Bar Banter. Thank you for having us once again. Thank you for listening to my listeners out here. Getting back, okay, once again, for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm here, of course, as always, with Beth, our co-host. We have Luke, we got Noah, and we have Christian here with us today on Bar Banter. We were just touching up a little bit, folks, on things about etiquette and such. And getting to that, I'm going to kind of loop back a little bit and go back to kind of the COVID shift for both Christian and Luke. Christian, what was that experience like for you pre and post COVID?
So at the time I was working at a restaurant on the Beltline, and I remember...
Midtown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Old Fourth Ward.
Gotcha.
Can I name the restaurant or?
That depends on your relationship with them.
Yeah. So yeah, it was on the Beltline. Yeah. So it was on the Beltline, and so you ended up going from making like about $250 to $300 on a good day, and when COVID did hit, we only did to-go orders. And it drastically changed. You were paid a stipend, I believe, of $100 per week. Yeah, it drastically changed. So at the time, the only skill that I had was just serving. So I knew that if I left there, it wouldn't be anywhere better. What people don't talk about is that when COVID did hit, we were literally the first industry to feel that.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to go out and eat. And now that the fear was instilled and all the deaths were rising, nobody wanted to go out. And that gave a rise to Grubhub and Uber, so to-go orders. So a lot of restaurants ended up shifting to go. And
DoorDash and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it was really a bad time for me. My personal experience, and the only thing that I made it through is that what people don't talk about as well is that in terms of hunger, you will never go hungry if you work at a restaurant industry, because you do form relationships with everybody front of house and then back of the house.
If you're smart.
Yeah, and so the money that I was making was not enough to even pay rent, but at least I wasn't going hungry. So I didn't go to Walmart for a while because
huge expense, right? Saving wise, like
yeah, I was getting fed by the restaurant because they even felt bad for us. So the only thing they can do to accommodate us was just to feed us.
And just for those of you guys who don't know who are in the industry, we're talking about like things like some restaurants really form a culture around this thing called family meal, where maybe like whether it's in between the AM and PM shift this is served, or maybe if you're just a restaurant that opens up towards the evening, they still provide you that kind of meal, that complimentary meal. Now I know every restaurant doesn't have the business model or like finances to support the staff in no way, but at the end of the day, like you should give them discounts, 50%, because especially if they're there. I know there's laws that really protect people for that, but some people don't exercise that. And if you're there for at least like 6 hours, you should at least get some kind of like app or something like that, just for nourishment and morale, which is very important when you're talking about people that are cultivating experiences. They gotta be right.
I feel like the only places that I worked at that do family meals, they were like ethnic places. So I worked at a hibachi restaurant, and they did family meal for lunch and dinner.
I will say shout out to Darden. They are one of the biggest company out there. They are on top of that shit like no one's business. So
and it was like you can always eat for free if you're working here. You can always eat for free if you're full time, half time. Because I feel like sometimes they only let you eat for free if you're there all day or if you're there full time. But I worked at a place that it was like no matter how long you were here, you can eat because you're an employee.
Right.
And I think that that's like a dope concept that boosts morale and that makes people want to come and fucking work for you.
And why it's hard for people who are prepping, Christian, I'll get right back to you, then we'll go on to Luke, is meal prepping is hard when you work in the service industry. Given the hours of operation, you have to be available, and when you actually have to work. And I know you can say you can crank it out in a day or so, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. And most people will tell you that, and that's just how it is. But anyway, thank you, Christian. Did you have anything to say before I?
Well, no, the only thing I was going to say is that what I'm grateful for with the restaurant industry is that it does take care of one of the major needs, and which is we all need is food.
It teaches you how to play with your team and really understand there's a family-oriented energy involved when there's a healthy environment, which is very critical. Luke, what do you have to say about that? How was your experience in and out of COVID?
It was a little different. So I actually, this last year, I've got back into just serving. Tried to get me to bartend. I wouldn't even do that. But I managed for 7 years prior to that. Starting back in Los Angeles. And when I came out here, one of my friends actually partnered with a guy, and they were opening up these smaller little kind of gastropub eateries. So I went to that and helped open 2 of those and refurbish one managerial-wise that was up in Tennessee. So I was just kind of traveling between 3 of those. It was interesting. It was different. That was the first decline, which is why I'm serving now. Prior to that, I always felt like it was the atmosphere of managing. And this is one thing I say all the time now. If you're a manager, that doesn't mean that you just sit there and you point your finger. If you're a manager, you're working harder than everybody else. You're there to serve the servers.
You're a sergeant. Yeah.
You are checking the tables. You are present. You shouldn't have to ask anybody what's going on because you should be walking the floor so much that you know what table's there. You should know if somebody hasn't been to a table yet and said hello. And then instead of going and yelling at somebody, you should have cultivated a staff to where you know that they must be really busy to where you're going to go over and you're going to greet that table and you're going to get it going. Now that's an extenuating circumstance when you're slammed. Obviously, you want a team that's built where they can greet their tables and their sections. They can work together, everything. But it's also the point of helping people. That was one of my favorite things of when I went from my last years of bartending into managing. It was teaching people and actually helping people. The old thing of turning around and helping the person behind you. It was helping that person learn how to multitask better, how to be quicker, how to look at their entire section and see what they need and make less trips, how to speak with guests. When the guest is talking too much, how to end a conversation kindly.
Yes.
And come back to it and remember the topic of conversation.
Time management, yeah, dude.
Time management, social ability, and I stopped managing because I feel like a lot of that it used to be the majority of the staff, 80% of the people were doing that, 20% weren't. And it really felt like it went to 60% of people aren't doing that. And then when you try to help them,
they get butthurt.
Hey, you're 30 minutes late. Oh, you're targeting me. I'm not targeting you. You're 30 minutes late to work and there's other people relying and you just set up. Oh, well, that's not how I was. Well, that's good. That's not how you're raised. You signed on for this job. This is that worldwide when somebody says be here. And that's what I hate about people talking now. It's like, oh, this isn't my real thing. If this is what's paying your bills and this is where you're making money, this is your real thing. If you're going to be a music artist or an actor or a computer person, while you're doing that, that is what you're making money. While you're doing this is what
whatever you're doing, you're putting your fucking name on it. It's your
Correct.
Shit. Right.
And that, I feel, went out the window both for the server side, the bartender side, and the manager side.
Back to the mirror, motherfuckers. Look in the goddamn mirror.
Nobody wants to do what they're supposed to anymore. The managers just want to sit and take a managerial shit on everybody. But they don't
managerial shit.
And they just won't. It's like, okay, if you're constantly looking at your team and they're doing this, either A, you have people that shouldn't be there, and you're cultivating an environment that allows them to thrive.
From hiring them,
Or
right?
B, you have not trained them correctly, which means, and I'm not trying to pat myself in the back here, it was on me when I managed. Everything reflected me in that shift.
Responsibility.
These were the people that reflected the style of service that I was managing. And to do that, you need to manage your shift. You got to be there. You got to see what's going on. You got to see who's in the. People aren't going to be eating in the back if they know you're circling around. People are going to be more likely to say yes when you ask something if they know when they're in the weeds, you're right there helping them bust a table, maybe. Open a bottle of wine, present it, getting some waters for their tables. You are there to help. This whole managerial thing of, well, that's your job. Yes, it is their job. But if they're not capable of doing it, then there's an issue. And it could be, it's not always the manager's fault. I mean, ultimately it's the manager's fault because they're there. Not everybody should be in this industry.
Yeah.
My oldest brother worked at a Perkins in high school.
What's a Perkins?
It's like
It's like a breakfast restaurant.
it's like a breakfast style restaurant. You know,
Like a broken egg?
I remember Perkins. It's a
Like a Shoney's.
Marie
it's
Callender's.
up
That's
north
in
thing.
California.
Do they have
So
them in
it's
the
like-
South?
Yeah, there's like
Broken egg out here?
It's
I'm
like
from
pies and
Northeast. That's how I
breakfast.
know what it is.
Yeah.
Like a breakfast diner.
Yes, so my brother.
Like the White House? Is it the White House right there on
They had
Piedmont?
them in Pennsylvania, so they had them in Maryland.
Well, shit, my mom's a great pastry
Anyway.
chef.
Yeah, so you know, you've probably been chilling with your
Probably.
mother
I
and had
maybe
no idea.
heard that.
It's like what they got robbed in when they were in Pulp Fiction, like something like
Oh.
God, stop.
that. Something similar to that. So my oldest brother, who got 34 in his ACT without studying, the guy's fucking brilliant. Got fired because he kept dropping his trays of food. Couldn't do it.
What the whoa. What the fuck? What the fuck do you mean he couldn't do it? What are we talking
He
about?
couldn't balance the tray, and so he would drop it. My point of the story is now he is in, I can't remember which department it is. He's like very high up in Apple right now.
The same dude, the tray guy?
Tons of money. Because you know what? He wasn't meant to be there. This whole thing of, not everybody's meant to do everything.
Okay,
Right.
My
I see
dad
what you're
always
saying.
said, some people actually fill the hole, some people dig the hole.
Okay.
You gotta have it. Some people are installing the pipe, some people are making the pipe. Not every job's for everybody. So this whole thing of now,
Very
granted,
good.
when you're at a lower level restaurant, yes, I think you should be inclusive. But when you get to these higher end restaurants where people are spending $1,000 for 2 people to eat, $1,500 for 3,
Right.
you better fucking step up. And
Damn
this
right.
whole thing of, they've got this going on at home. Who gives a shit?
It's A1
Because
performance.
that person paying $1,500 doesn't give 2 fucks.
No.
And when they don't come back and tip me because that person sucked, now you're taking money out of everybody.
Damn. Full circle. Thank you, Luke. That's fucking perfect. And just for you guys at home who aren't in the industry, once again, what Luke is basically saying, just to kind of give you all a little summary, he's saying that the quality of your staff as a as a manager of a restaurant and a high caliber environment is a refraction of that manager himself or herself or, themselves, right? Like, if you're not creating a healthy environment, nourishing it, cultivating it, which is your hiring system and truly putting them to the test the way they're supposed to. Listen to your bartenders, your servers, your employees about how they're interacting and how they're truly growing with them and what they can do. And like he said, you need to be nourishing them in the fray when it's 8, 9 o'clock and y'all are balls deep, 300 covers, 500 covers, whatever. And it's crazy out there. Those are when y'all need to be patching up the holes and inspiring your teammates and your employees, not just tearing them down in the middle of it and giving them more stress than they need to just to fuck up more tickets. So, I mean, Luke, thank you. Like, that was really well played, bro.
Perfect.
Noah, how do you feel about that as far as what he was just talking about?
Yeah, I mean, like, I just kind of touch on, like, basically COVID-ish, like, subject. It's like a lot of that before COVID. I started at this restaurant right before COVID, and I saw a completely different.
Like, you weren't in the industry at all before COVID?
No, I was at this restaurant before.
You said you Red Robin. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
At this specific restaurant, and it was vet staff. It was people that they were professional at it. It was my first time in.
What was that term you used? What staff?
Veterans.
Vet staff. Okay.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
it was people took it seriously. They were professional, and it was my first time in that kind of.
So as the kids would say, they were standing on their business.
Yeah, standing on their business.
Gotcha.
And it was it was get with it or get out of the way attitude. Like,
That's right.
If sink or swim, once you were out of training, if you were dragging the team down, they'd get on your ass. And
Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
For sure. And COVID happened, and I know people did pretty well, right? Like as soon as they luckily our company took pretty good care of us, but people that came back right away. It was very minimal staff, so people were itching to get back out, and so they were making money. But as I come back 6 months, like I had just got my feet wet, and I like just got a little bit of comfortability at that place. Get furloughed, come back 6 months later, and a lot of those veteran staff are gone. They went on to fulfill their dreams, like they took their downtime to focus and grind out what they wanted to do, which good for them. And it's like it goes back to like when people say this isn't my thing, it is for now. Do it, make the most of it, and then you can do what you want to do later.
It's a foundation.
Yeah,
right.
And be good at what you're doing now. But it got to an attitude of a lot of like a new wave, and I think a big reason that the industry struggled is you get a new wave of these employees without the vets to set the example. So they're just going in with the attitude of, I can get away with this, so I'm going to. And they come from other restaurants, whatever, that they never really tasted the money that they're getting now because nobody set that example. And so they're like, well, if people are going to pay me this anyways, I might as well just half-ass it. No, man, they put full effort into it, and you can make 2-3 times the amount of what you're doing now.
People will tip you fucking 200%. Okay, look at me. But I'm talking about major money just because you were better. You were in your higher self. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No. But I was gonna say, like, I've more recently felt like I've been more fruitful in what I'm making, and it's because I'm not focused on what other people do, and I was talking about like correcting people and this, that, and the other, and to a point, like if you're working right,
you're talking about verbiage as a guest.
Yeah, no, like to my coworkers.
Okay.
But I want you to answer this because I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
I want you to answer this. Don't you feel like in the last several years it's like a catch-22? Hey, we want you to teach the new people, but then when you tell them, hey, you're doing it wrong, you're fucking targeting them, and now you're sitting in the office because you were trying to show them the correct way.
Right, with butthurt Bob.
Shit.
Right, with
Exactly.
HR on some bullshit.
And it's because I'm passionate about what I do. Like I said, I'm into wine, and then so this is kind of a good industry for me to practice that. And so I'm passionate about what I do. And when I see people that are kind of dragging the team down, I try and correct it, or was, and you get flack for it. And what I've realized is like, okay, unless it's right next to me, because if it's behind the bar with me, I got to make sure the bar is looking clean, like make sure we're doing what we need to do. But otherwise, it's out of my control. You're going to do what you want to do. And at this point, it's up to management to take care of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I find my mental health is better. Like people aren't such a, like, because I would be the asshole, so they're not assholes to me anymore. And which is huge.
So it goes around, comes around, really is effective.
I used to say, I was like, I don't really care what people think of me, but like after a while, just draining when all your coworkers are just.
I think my thing is I've been drained all the way to where I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because Devin will tell you, I can't stop. I might stop for like a couple of days or so, but eventually it's like, hey, what are you doing? Like, hey, stop, do it, because at the end of the day, and this is, I think, it takes Luke about 3 strikes a week, and then it's fucking over. I think it's not only the problem in restaurants or anything. I think it's the problem with the current world that's going on right now. Take pride in what
it's a cultural issue, right?
Take a pride, dude. These kids now, and it's graduated into older people as well.
It's across the board.
You should have pride in what you're doing, to where even if it's serving somebody, you should be like, I did that. I got a call out the other day on a review that said in 20 years it's the best service ever. I'm going to pat myself on the back right now. You better believe it. Best service ever. I knew the menu forward and backwards, and the managers saw it. They put this thing, and they wrote this long thing. And you know what? I don't really care too much about that. It made me feel good. But what made me feel good is I remember who wrote that, because they were so stoked. When those people, when they look at me, and my table, when the table next to me, which I'm in a high-end restaurant, it's expensive.
Yeah.
When you look at my table and some of the other people around me, some of the other people will still have stuff at their table. Mine, Devin can tell you, mine are fucking immaculate. If you are not currently using that at this moment, it is not on the table. There is no trash on the floor. There's no crumbs. And I'll attribute that. I'll give a shout out. When I opened Nova in West Hollywood, we did the training back in 2008. We did a month, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. They had one day to where we were sitting in a chair. They would drop different silverware behind us because they didn't want you looking at the silverware. They wanted you grabbing what was needed so you could go to the guest and give it to them and then pick it up.
That's acceptable.
Everybody worked together. There was a whole day of just walking around and passing stuff off to each other just so you could fluidly work together.
And let me pause real quick right there. So this for you guys, once again, from the outside looking in as far as being in the service industry. What Luke is talking about is there's a level of showmanship that is applied when you truly execute steps of service that go beyond just what the manual says and the guidelines. He's talking about manicuring. He's talking about having everything on the table that's needed for the experience versus things that aren't there. And those things matter, especially to experienced diners, because that's the difference between freaking Six Flags and Disney World. You understand? So keep going, Luke.
It is. I mean, it's the same thing all the way to, there's some people that, okay, if they're doing a round of cocktails at the beginning, there's some servers that will leave those wine glasses on to try to, you shouldn't have to try to wave a carrot in front of them. You should have what it takes to know what's next. At that step, would you like some wine with dinner? Would you like another cocktail? Would you like to talk about this? And then you bring it back. Those little added steps might seem like it takes longer, but it doesn't because it's fluid. It's just like clutter.
Right.
There's no clutter. When there's no clutter, you're free to do what you need to do.
Exactly.
And they're free to do what they need to do. And on top of it, at the end of the time, there's a big thing to where it's with the level of music and what's in the table. So if you're walking through a restaurant, you should be able to hear the mumble of people, not their clear conversation.
Yes.
A lot of restaurants don't do this. They just bullshit low music or it's blasting in your face. It's ridiculous. There should be somebody constantly going through adjusting those levels because when they're doing that, it causes guests to, if MJ and I are here sitting, I'm going to lean more towards her and it's not going to be too loud because it's drowning out the other people's conversation. We're getting closer together. Let's say we're old friends, first date, whatever you want to do. I don't care. We're talking. We're also going to eat a little faster. We're going to drink a little more. We're going to consume more and spend more money. Yeah. Now, if you're doing your job as a server, even at the bartender, you're clearing that stuff away. When everything's done and we lean back, there's nothing for us to re-engage on. So you drop that check, we're going to pay that check and we're going to leave. If there's still a bunch of bullshit on the table, they're going to reach up and they're going to touch those things. It should be a water glass and drink glass to where when the time's done, the time's done.
Absolutely.
And it should be all it goes down to. And you could have this level of service at a Denny's. It doesn't matter. The problem with what's going on right now is sometimes when you go to a Denny's, you're getting a better server because it's some old lady that's just running her ass off and she's got mouths to feed.
Right.
Than some of these young kids that have the opportunity to make $400 to $700 on a 6-hour shift, and they're in the back eating the salad because they're on a special diet that nobody gives a shit about because you're still out of
Not to
shape.
mention the pedestal up their ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, facts.
Just nobody takes pride in what they're doing.
Right.
And if you work in this industry and you take pride in what you do, it will transfer over to everything else you do in life. But if you set that at the beginning, somewhere it's going to bite you in the ass later because you're not going to take it seriously.
Thank you, freaking Luke. And I'm going to get to everybody here because we're going to go around the horn again and talk about something that's very special. But just once again, just to kind of sum up that for you folks, creating an experience in the service industry is a very, very, is a lot of acute details that go into it, and it's part of a very big picture. It's literally like you're not telling a story, but every table to us is not a table; it's a stage. Okay, and it's just very important to understand what people are doing for you and how they're doing it because it's very, very important. Luke, you made a lot of great points there, bro, and I really appreciate that.
Perfect, yeah.
Dude. That was awesome.
I've been waiting years to say that.
But it's true, man. Like it's not like it's hard once you get to doing it because you get to, the challenge is really just making that shoe fit each guest, right? Because it's always different,
Absolutely.
right? That's where those micro reads come from, right? That's why we have to really we apply every single experience time and time again to a bigger plot and spectrum. When we do. But anyway, guys, getting to the kind of the end of this podcast here that we're doing. This is a very great information that y'all been dropping here. MJ, Give me like, what would you say, like, you've been in this thing for a while. Give me some like good positive vibes. Like, what makes you happy? Like when you do something for a guest, like give me some examples, or just like in general, like what are something that just like you love about what you do when you get behind that stage?
I mean, I guess I would say the best part about our job is like giving the guests that good experience. Like, it's so often where the guests are having like a really shit day and you give them a really good drink and really good customer service, and it really turns their day around. And like, you know, besides the money, and yes, it's great, we leave with money every night, but like we really do, we're like in the business of making people happy.
Yeah.
In like a non-sexual way.
Right. Social whores maybe, but
yeah. So I think it's like, I think I would say
a little
that's
flirtation
like,
to it.
yeah, that's like,
you have to keep the potential on the table. They have to always think there's a chance.
Eyes your kids, bro. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
You flirt with everybody.
Think there's maybe.
It's right.
Yeah, you're a bartend stripper.
Didn't think that you had a chance, but no, yeah. I mean, sometimes you can really turn somebody's day around just by giving great service. And
it feels good, right? Especially when you don't think that it's gonna. You don't come into work like, who am I gonna heal today? But fuck, you see it.
Being yourself,
right?
Somebody like really appreciates you.
Yeah, like, your authentic self gave somebody a different angle at life.
Like, am I really like?
That's beautiful.
I'm really that dope, aren't I?
Yeah.
It gives a little confidence boost.
Yeah, exactly. That's beautiful.
It's like hitting a drug.
It is. No, it's a dopamine effect. Like you said earlier, Noah. Absolutely, dude. Yeah. Absolutely. Christian, how about you? What's type of service? Even at a freaking tech company, you can still make people happy. I mean, like, you know, it's not the case. I'm not trying to put you in this framework here. I'm just saying, like, when you're in the service industry, bro, like, talk to me.
Well, to me, it's the same thing, because where I work at is that it's full of problems. So whatever you bring your device in, there's always an issue. So my job's a little bit different. It's just straight to the point, solving issues. But like I said, it's still the service industry where, just a quick story. I've been a therapist to a therapist, but I had to frame it in a way of technology. They brought their laptop in and it was overrun with memory. And the only way to correct that laptop was to completely delete some of the useless things that were taking up the memory.
Miscellaneous storage.
It is.
Gotcha.
But it still applies to the service industry in
absolutely
terms of like what I'm helping for. And so the way I explained it to this lady is that just like the mind, if it's filled in with too many information and too many traumas, then you cease to function, just like the laptop. So what you have to do is sort out what's important to you, and you have to delete what's not important to you currently at the moment and where your state of mind is. And so with that, it still applies in terms of, it's not food that I'm selling, but it's a technical. It's a mentality. It's a certain, I get it, dude. Absolutely. Yeah. So just like what I stated before, is like sometimes you get people that want the job done, or sometimes they vent to you. And it still applies no matter what product you have, whether it's food, technology, it doesn't matter. Business is people. Yeah, it's literally psychology. So yes. I still, whatever I learned 10 years in the service industry, it was easily applied to what I'm doing currently. That's beautiful. So just to close that in is that, like those skills do transfer. People are people. You will always encounter people. I know we're in the generation of AI growing, but there's still people. So it's still a good skill to learn. You're 100% correct, bro, because you could go as far as from prompt engineering to just like physical sales in a different industry with different, materials, cars, art, what have you. Like service industry, people that are A1 in the service industry 100% have polished their salesman cap, right? Like we can definitely say that. They're definitely capable of being in front of, and are in front of, every aspect of life, every faction, class of this capitalist country, right? We all know that. Noah, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, just like I think we all can kind of agree that it's a great feeling to brighten someone's day, and just to show, like I beat myself up when I do the littlest thing. I forget someone's ranch is the biggest example. Like, forget the stupid little stuff. I'm like digging at myself. But when I can show how proficient I am and how and the guests are just so surprised and like
the woo factor, yeah.
Man, and like when you change someone's mood, like you said, turn their day around, it's a hint of drug, man. It feels so great to like just make people happy. But what like another perk of just like what we do is just I always say we meet the best people and the worst people in the world, man. But the best people really do give you hope for humanity
and growth, right?
Yeah, man. I meet some of the coolest people doing what I do, and there's a lot of assholes, but like I've made some really great friends, and I've made some really great memories with these people, and you know, I do enjoy it. I've been in this not for 20, but like for 10 years, and I don't know what I want to do next, but I'm not rushing because you know there's a lot of perks to what we do here.
Yeah, you're studying almost like the watering pool of your community, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
and then like you said, skills are transferable. Like
absolutely,
people in this industry have some of the best social skills. Like you don't. Not everybody's just born with that. You know, like I see
definitely
people,
not now.
I see people that are working like, I see people that are working not in the industry, and it's like their social awareness is lacking.
You're talking about like corporate people and shit?
And it's like, it's crazy how easy it kind of comes to us is just to talk to people and make conversation. And it's like
their lives are so much grayer, right?
Yeah,
But that's what's crazy.
Not to shit on everybody in corporate. I'm just talking about some of you sad people out there.
But like it's a skill that not everybody has. But
right.
Being in this, it's definitely grown, you know, and it's an important skill to have, I think.
And when applicable, it's quite fulfilling. Luke, what you got?
But that's what's crazy is in this industry, and you were talking about it, if this isn't the place you're going to be, and we've all kind of talked about it a little bit, but this could be the place that you could be. I mean, it's funny. I'll tell a quick story. This is when I was in my 20s. I dated this girl. I think I was like 29 or something. She was like 24.
Heard that.
She was absolutely banging everything. We had a great time together.
This is in Cali?
Yeah, living in Santa Monica, 7th and Wilshire, like right by the beach. She lived over by Pasadena, so she would come stay at my place all the time. And I mean, dude, we had fun. We went out, we slept together all the time. Like we had this great connection. And her dad was a doctor.
What kind of doctor?
I can't even remember right now.
That's good.
Now I'm old.
That's fair.
But like she's like, my dad wants to know when you're going to get a real job. Meanwhile, she's a school teacher making $30-something thousand a year. At that time,
he's asking your ass that shit in management.
At that time, no. At that time, I wasn't a manager. I was a bartender making over $90,000 a year, partying my ass off, living with my own 2 palm trees outside of my frosted windows.
My own 2 palm
7 blocks from the fucking water. It's like,
that's fire.
I got this place during 2008 recession. I got it right at the end. So I had this 1-bedroom, 1 bath for $13.50. Fucking dope, dude. It was so sick. But like, dude, I got in there, and that's the thing is so many people think, oh, it's not a real job. You can make more money in this job in a fraction of the hours as you would in being a school teacher. Not to knock school teachers. I love what they do. I appreciate it.
Different topic. We'll tackle them another time.
Different topic. But the thing is, for somebody to be in that industry and then bang out this industry, what I'm making at that time, close to 3 times what they're making. It's crazy because you could literally, when I stepped down from management, which I liked it, whatever it was, I went back and I literally am working less than half the hours and I make the same fucking money that I was making working gnarly hours. And now I'm actually on track to make probably about like $15,000 to $20,000.
Now you understand
more.
the game. You're getting to be a bit more strategic.
Well, no, I made great money when I was a server bartender, but I bought into that thing because I listened to it from so many people. That
you didn't do the right things with that money.
It wasn't a real job. No.
Yeah, I hate that.
That's what I'm asking you, right?
I partied it all the way.
$90K, bro. You fucking had some shit going on.
Dude,
all right.
I had a blast. But that's the thing is like I always kept listening to people that it wasn't a real job. If I would have just gotten my head out of my ass
and invested in yourself
correctly,
you got bullied into fucking paralyzing yourself, basically, right?
I got bullied into wearing a suit, walking around, and taking more shit and
fucking monkey show.
Toilets.
Wow,
like bullshit.
Instead of believing in yourself.
Amen and hallelujah.
Damn right, bro.
So you can make this industry
Yeah.
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
It's such a bullshit phrase when people are like, well, when are you going to get a real job? I mean, motherfucker, I make
More
Yeah,
than
no,
you.
no,
Yeah,
right, right. Because
Like-
let your fucking punk ass come behind this bar and you tell me how your week goes, bitch.
Yeah.
And then tell me your tips are over 40%.
And how many of these people come in and they like look at us, they treat us like shit, and then your fucking credit cards decline.
That's right, motherfucker.
Fuck you.
Oh, I was
Like-
traveling. Oh, this and that. Oh, y'all don't take tabs. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Get that out of our face with that shit. Man, I could shovel it all day. Okay, really quick, we're going to close out here, but really quick, Luke. So I know you got a little project coming out, given your history in the industry, you're kind of projecting to further things. Talk to me about your piece of work that you have
Okay,
coming.
so I just wrote like a little pamphlet, and I'm in the process of, so you'll be able to buy it on Amazon soon. I'm in the final process of getting it together. It's called How to Go Out in Restaurants and Bars in America. It's a bullet point from when you call into the restaurant to when you make your reservation to when you drive up to valet to when you come in to when you listen to the spiel of the server or bartender, all the way to using the bathroom, exiting the building, loitering at the table afterwards.
Oh my God.
Not tipping, how to treat and how to interact. It's kind of like a
etiquette.
It's kind of a semi-humorous take, but it's very, very on point.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's crazy. It's gonna when it's totally done. I finished editing because I have to reformat. It's gonna be like
Not condescending, not prejudice.
not condescending. It's the subtitle of it is things that people know, but they pretend they don't. But now to finite it. So that's the whole thing. Is just like it's a re-education little pamphlet. I think it'll be a funny coffee table little book when it comes out. But How to Go Out in Restaurants and Bars in America by Luke Winston. It will be on Amazon within a month or two. I'm working on the final stages right now.
And by the way, wait, what month are we in right now? Are we in May?
May.
Yeah, so it's May 2024. So look forward soon, people. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody, for being
Thank
here
you.
for another episode. So thanks again, everybody, for listening and tuning in here for Bar Banter. Hope y'all got a lot of cool information here today with these glorious guests that I have here. Just to kind of recap on everything, it's very important what we do here. Things have changed since COVID and after COVID, before COVID, pre-COVID, post-COVID. Mental health, people, is very important across the board. And, things that these people do and have been doing this whole time is an extremely, extremely valorous activity, lifestyle. And we talk to all of you guys, everyone either has been in the industry and or has dealt with it. There's not a single person, definitely in America, who hasn't had even the McDonald's drive-through. It's the service industry. Okay. Not shitting on McDonald's at all. I'm just saying from the bottom to the top, it doesn't matter what you do, how you order, everybody deals with somebody who has to cultivate an experience from you, whether it's 2 minutes or 2 hours. Okay. And with that being said, if you're one of those people, like, really be truthful about yourself. And if you're looking for growth and clarity in your life and you're confused, I say go into the service industry if you don't have a better job, or even just for a couple days a week, just to get to know yourself and really put yourself out there and test the friction of how you really do with the variety of people in the world, or at least in your community. Okay. Thank you guys again for tuning in with Bar Banter. My name, once again, is Devin Lewis. I'm here with Beth, Luke, Noah, and of course, Christian. Thank you, ATL. Thank you, world. We hope that we have, educated you guys a little bit, and let's just make this world a better place, guys. One
Thank you,
order at a
Devin.
time. Let's make some more memories.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Devin.